Hi guys, welcome to Classic Rock and Country Music Facts and Trivia. Appreciate you being here. Today's video is on the legendary Keith Whitley. Uh, this year he has been gone 34 years, and a true country legend. Would have been huge had he lived. Let's take a look. Without a doubt, one of the greatest to ever do it. Despite a career that was cut all too short by his untimely death on 34 years ago, and only 5 years after the release of his first album, Keith Whitley has managed to cement his place as one of the greatest country singers of all time. Whitley moved in Nashville in '83 to pursue a country music career and quickly landed a record deal off the strength of his neo-traditional brand of country, and was coming back into the style with the artists like George Strait and Randy Travis. His first release, A Hard Act to Follow, was a 6-song EP that received mixed reviews for Whitley's attempts at trying to sound too mainstream. But in '85, Whitley had found his sound on his debut full-length album, LA to Miami. The album would give Whitley his first of many hits with Miami, Miami, as well as Homecoming 63 and Hard Livin'. And also featured Nobody in His Right Mind Would Have Left Her, which would go on to become a hit for George Strait a few years later after Whitley decided not to release his version as a single, as well as On the Other Hand, which would later be released by Randy Travis. While on tour after the release of LA to Miami, Whitley met Lori Morgan, and the two were married soon after, with their only child, Jesse Keith Whitley, being born in '87. Before the release of his next album, Whitley asked greater creative control over the songs, and the result was his second studio album, Don't Close Your Eyes, in 1988. The album would go on to become Whitley's most iconic, giving rise to hits like the title track, as well as classics like I'm No Stranger to the Rain and When You Say Nothing at All, Whitley's first 3 number-1 hits. Don't Close Your Eyes would be named the top country song of '88 by Billboard, and Whitley earned his first and only solo CMA award for I'm No Stranger to the Rain, which also scored a Grammy nomination for Best Male Country Vocal Performance. He went back into the studio and finished up his third full-length album, I Wonder Do You Think of Me, but unfortunately he wouldn't make it to see the album's release. On May 9th of 1989, Keith Whitley had a visit from his brother-in-law, and they two had planned to play golf and have lunch. His brother-in-law left the house briefly, and when he returned, he found Whitley unresponsive in his bed. Keith Whitley was pronounced dead at the hospital at the age of 34. Whitley's cause of death was revealed to be acute alcohol poisoning. His blood alcohol content was found to be a .47, more than 5 times the legal limit to drive of .08. Tributes to Keith poured in, with Waylon Jennings saying that Keith Whitley was the greatest country music singer ever. Music Row was lined with black ribbons in honor of Whitley after his sudden death. Whitley had been open about the struggles with his struggles with alcohol, speaking on his addiction just months before he died. I learned to do things the way the old timers did it. I thought everybody had to drink to be in this business. Lefty drank, Hank drank, George Jones was still drinking, and I had to. That's just the way it was. You couldn't put that soul in your singing if you weren't about 3 sheets in the wind. That was just the way we did it in Sandy Hook, and it was a lot of fun. For me, the past isn't deep and dark. I had a lot of fun, and I couldn't have had it any other way. But somewhere along the way, it turned on me. Where it used to be a friend, it became an enemy. Just 3 months after his death, Whitley's third studio album was released, giving Whitley 2 more number-1 hits to add to his string of 5 straight, with I Wonder Do You Think of Me and It Ain't Nothing. The year following his passing, a greatest hits album was released featuring 2 songs, a demo that Whitley had recorded with his wife Lori Morgan called Till a Tear Becomes a Rose, and the now heartbreaking tribute to his wife, Tell Lori I Love Her, which Whitley had recorded at home as a work tape for a friend to sing at Whitley's wedding to Morgan. Another posthumous album, Kentucky Bluebird, was released in '91, featuring a mix of songs Whitley had recorded for an album that was scrapped in '87, and demos of a new music he had been working on. And in '95, another album, Wherever You Are Tonight, containing 10 more of Whitley's demo recordings, was released. Final release from Whitley came in 2000 with Sad Songs and Waltzes, an album originally recorded while Whitley was a member of the bluegrass band J.D. Crowe in the New South. Whitley's vocal tracks were kept for the album, while new instrumentation and harmony vocals were added to create the final album of Keith Whitley's legendary career. Last year, Keith Whitley was finally given his rightful place in the Country Music Hall of Fame, with his widow, Lori Morgan, accepting the honor in his absence. You'd be hard-pressed to find a country singer these days who isn't influenced by Keith Whitley. Everybody from Morgan Wallen to Randall King has named him as an inspiration. He was one of a kind, and it's only tragic that he wasn't with us longer than he was. True story. Very tragic. That's all I have for you. If you guys enjoyed this, rest in peace, Keith Whitley. God rest his soul. Please don't forget about classic TV facts and trivia. Head on over there and please subscribe while you're there. Great day. God bless. Be praying for you.